Hello friends, Amanda with you here today. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be making a card using the Coffee, Wheeze, and Background Builder Autumn Cottages from Sweet November Stamps. They are having a brand new clear autumn release with 13 amazing sets, but today these are the images that I'm using. You can see that I have used the two little fairwees and I've created a mask because I'm going to create a full scene on one sheet of paper. Taking the cottage, the big one in this set, which is completely amazing, I'm going to ink it up in sections because I want to make sure that I get a really good inking on this and my paper doesn't move. Just making sure it lines back up before I re-ink it again because it did move just slightly. That's the amazing thing about these stamping platforms is you can really ink it multiple times and get a perfect image every time. I've created a mask for the cottage, just a partial mask because I'm not going to be stamping all the way across. I didn't feel like fussy cutting it all out. And I'm taking the stamp set that has the hills and two cottages in the back, three cottages in the background. And I'm just going to ink up the one side so I don't have to worry about making that mask all the way over to the other cottage. For my ink, I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black. And for my paper, I'm using Hammermill Premium Color Paper. I love this paper. I've been using it for years. It always accepts my Copic colors flawlessly, and it's pretty inexpensive. Just removing those masks for that wonderful reveal, and I'm going to add the little smoke coming out of the chimney up top. The colors that I'm going to be using for this entire card will be linked in the description box below. I do go through quite a few colors on this card, so we will be linking them down below for you. But the skin color I'm using is E04, E13, E11, E00, E000. For the cheeks, R22, R20, and R00. These little fairies are so cute. The girls over at Sweet November Stamps always do an amazing job at making really adorable images. Along with the stamps, there are 4 new sequin mixes to this wonderful release. You have one for coffee lovers, fall mushroom, delicate sunshine, and lovely leaves. These sequences are so pretty, and I love the little teeny tiny images that come inside. They are so cute. All right, so let's talk about the coloring. I've started with my darkest color first, which is what I usually do for skin, and that was the E04. And then I go to the E13 and I drag out the color more, and then E11, a little bit more, and then E00, and then I end with E000. These little fairies have the cutest little expressions on their faces. So adorable. Taking my darkest color of the pinks, R22, and then R20, and then R00. And then I just drag out the color a little bit more each time to give them their rosy little cheeks. For the hair, I'm using E55, E53, and E51. I love those colors for the blondes. Super light and adorable. Just flicking and giving the little teeny tiny sharp points to make it look like it's shiny. So let's talk a little bit more about this release and all the stamps that come with it. So yesterday we had an Instagram hop that launched with Sweet November Stamps. That will also be linked in the description box below for you. And for that card, I used the stamp set Fall is in the Air. It has 4 adorable owls and some of the sweetest little sentiments. Along with this release come 4 adorable sets. I would say are like a vintage storybook type feel. And Bountiful Blessing Harvest Apples is super adorable. It's the one with the squirrels and all the apples, super cute. Beautiful Blessings Soft Sunshine It has a bunch of bunnies and a little girl and sunflowers. Super cute. Bountiful Blessings, Thanks a Bunch. And that one has little birds, grapes, and a little girl. So adorable. Bountiful Blessings, Pick of the Patch. And that one has the mice, the pumpkins, and the little girl. So cute. And I did a couple cards with watercoloring that I'll be sharing throughout the week. These sets, I would say, are very vintagey, very cute, very storybook type feel. Love them. Okay, so for her hair, I'm using E29, E27, and E23. For the blonde's shirt, I'm using BG53, BG57, and BG49. And for the darker Wee's shirt, you're going to see I changed it. That's right. I realized that yellow really just kind of blended into the grass background that I'm going to do. So I changed it to a purple. But if you like the yellows that I'm using and are wondering what they are, I used V20 for the shadow, Y11, and then Y13 for the yellows. For their pants, the colors are B37 and B99. Super cute. All right, so along with this release come two new SN gals. The one is Olive, and she's holding a purse. And then you have the coffee girl, Sienna or Sienna. I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce it, but I will be getting to those shortly. Along with this release comes a new Horizon line. These are birch trees. They are amazingly drawn. I can't wait to color those up. And then three new little, I would say they're little chubby fairies. They're so cute. And that is Bella, Liv, and Nutley. They are so cute. One has a mushroom. That's Bella. Liv has a leaf and little grapes around her head and a little, I would say, a leafy skirt. And then Nutley has as an acorn for a hat. I mean, come on, that's adorable. For the mushroom, the base color is E33, E13, and E11. And the oranges I'm using are R24, YR09, YR16, and Y38. Okay, so those are the colors that we've used so far. Again, everything will be linked in the description box below for your convenience, along with the sets that I'm using, all the colors. So feel free to reference that. I hope you enjoy. I'm going to turn on some music here and let you watch me color. That's kind of my thing. I don't always have a lot to say. I don't know what to say. So I just color. That's what I do. So enjoy, and I'll be back in a little while to talk a little bit more about this card. right, so for the house, I'm using warm grays, W7, W5, W3, and W1. For the roof, it was the same combination as the mushroom, which was R24, YR09, Y38, YR16. I'm using the W7 in the darkest places for the shadows and some of the bricks, just using that for the darker areas and dragging it out. And then I'll be using the W5. I hope you all have been enjoying the YouTube hop that we here at Sweet November have been hosting. It's been a lot of fun. I have to say my favorite is probably these cottage houses. I can see me using them in a lot of different kinds of cards, from gnomes, Christmas. I mean, Christmas would be adorable, just not have the trees in the background. All sorts of fun things with this cottage set. Love it. Here I'm just dragging the darker color out further, and then I'm going to use the W3 to color more of it, and then W1. All right. I love hearing what you guys think. If there's other types of cards you'd like to see me do, I love to do watercolor, distressing, blending, things like that. So if there are things that you want to see, I will do my best to make that happen. I have been having a lot of fun making videos lately, so I would love for you to join my channel if you haven't already. Click subscribe, follow, hit the bell so you get notified. I've been trying to do 1 to 2 videos a week. I've recently upgraded some of my recording stuff, so it is a little bit easier for me to record and edit my videos. So prepare to see more videos. Hopefully they're things that you like and enjoy. For these stones and the stairs, I'm using N5, N4, and N3. And I'm just dragging the darkest color right underneath the step to make it look a bit shadowy. So it looks like it overhangs just slightly. It breaks up the top of the stair from the underneath the step. And then my N3 is the lightest color, and I take it all the way across the top. I'm doing the same with the rocks. I'm taking the darkest marker in the shadowier spots of the rock, and unfortunately the top of my card was not in frame for the chimney, but it was the same colors. For the tree, I'm using E27, E35, and E53. I'm not worrying too much about the color details on the slimmer trees, as they're pretty much in the foreground and you're not going to see them very clearly anyway, so I'm not too worried about what those trunks look like. But for the tree here right next to the house, I wanted to give it some more dimension. So I focused a little bit more on the coloring details for that, adding some darker and some lighter shades to make it look like it's a gnarly tree. It's an old tree. It's really cool. Amy always does such an amazing job at creating these background builders, and it helps people like me. I don't draw too often, and I would prefer not to have to draw my background. So these background builders that Amy comes up with are always very helpful, and I love them. For the door, I'm using the same color as the First Fairies shirt. It's BG53 BG57 and BG49. I wanted things to just kind of tie in together. I'm using my darkest color BG49 for the windowsill frames. I am not worried about using lighter shades. They are very tiny and they're not that important in the scene. These little mushrooms on the side, I'm using these same colors. It is R24, YR09, YR16, and Y38. All right, just getting these stones using the darkest color at the base. The grass colors that I'm using, or the green, I guess, for the grass, is YG00, YG03, and YG17. I love these green color combinations. I use them very often. And I'm not worrying about the wings of the fairy, about this lighter color, because fairy wings are translucent. So getting a little bit of green in there is not an issue for me, as they should be see-through anyway. Taking the YG03 and I'm just adding in some darker shades, bringing color in towards them. This color I'm being a little more careful not to get it on my characters. These fairies are just so adorable. And I love that they're having coffee out front in front of their little cottage house. Just bringing that color in and out, trying to make sure that I'm not making it look too uniformed. And now I'm using the YG17 to give it some darker shadows, and then I'll go back in with YG03 and drag out that color even more. Blend it up. And in a flicky motion, just bringing it in. I'm not the best at this, but I do have fun. And that's what it's all about. Okay, so for this YouTube hop to play along, all you have to do is visit each of our YouTube channels that is listed below, subscribe to our channels, leave a comment. We have 8 inspirational videos for you to watch and 4 days to hop along. It will run from Sunday, October 1st through Wednesday, October 4th. One random selected winner will be announced. The randomly selected winner will have 1 week to respond, and if no responses from that winner, a new one will be randomly chosen. Good luck. All right, now that the formalities are out of the way, and we all know what's going on, back to the coloring. Just finishing up, getting some shading down here by their little faces, trying not to get it in their hair. And for the little cottage in the back, I use the exact same color as the cottage in the front. Just dragging that color and trying to blend it. I do have to do a little bit of marker maintenance here because my greens get used quite a bit, especially with scene building. All right, so I'm using a C1 and I'm creating a cloud. I do not want to get too much of the blue sky up in this cloudy area. I want them to be semi-white. And I'm using BG10 and BG11. And I'm just cleaning up some of the green that I got on my glass mat. Just wiping it up. Don't want that in the sky. So just dragging that color across the top, trying to leave the clouded area free of any blue. And I'm not worried about going into the trees because those are going to be purple. So just going right across the top of all of that to get a seamless skyy look. Just getting in some of those fine spots. This card is almost done. We have just the cottage and the trees to do. All right, just adding some purple leaves to our little scene here. The color that I'm using is V12, V15, and V17. I love having purple and orange and teal together. And just kind of adding some dots to give it some texture. And the same with these trees here, just using V12, then V15 and V17. Just giving them some squiggle marks for their foliage. It's the easiest way to give texture. Fall is my favorite time of year. I love all of the colors and vibrancy of the trees. So it is my favorite. And paired with these leaves, I mean, who could go wrong? We're getting down to the very end. Just getting the very top of this tree. This card is going to be going to my friend. Her and I love to go to coffee together, and I'm going to send it as an invitation. Okay, so here's where you see that I'm going to fix her shirt. I'm using the same purples as I did for the trees, so everything kind of ties in together. And it goes over the yellow fairly well. You can kind of tell that there's a different color underneath, but it isn't horrible. And I cover it up by using dots to make it look a little fuzzy. So all in all, not a bad fix. I'm adding some Wink of Stella to the wings and to their hair to make them look really sparkly and shiny. You can't really tell on the video, but in person, they do sparkle. Then I'm going to be taking my white Sharpie gel pen, or I guess it's not a gel pen, it's just a white Sharpie pen that we got from the camp retreat from Sweet November Stamps. And I'm just adding some little sparkle, starry dust kind of things around them so they look like they're just so magical. All there is left is to add the sentiment, and this card is done. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Hop along with the rest of all of us, and do come again, like and subscribe. Thanks for stopping. Bye.